Welcome back. I'm Pastor Doug. We now continue with part 25 in our series entitled Paul's Letter to the Romans. In the closing verses of Romans chapter 2, Paul brings up inconsistencies between our talk and our walk. We all fail in this area from time to time, but this is not something to be taken lightly. The personal and public lives of all born-again believers is a living testimony that is being communicated on a daily basis from our personal pulpits, be it at home, work, or play. The damage to our personal pulpits that these inconsistencies generate can be devastating to the productivity of our post-salvation spiritual life. Knowing where all the bodies are buried is perhaps the primary reason that believers receive no honor, Matthew 13:57, by family members or by those who know them personally. Our inevitable failures do not go unnoticed. This is what gives our enemy both ammunition and opportunity to malign the church at large. This principle does not only apply to those who officially speak for God as ordained ministers, but to everyone who bears the name Christian. To identify oneself as a Christian and then not live as one is the church age application of the third commandment of the Old Testament 10 Commandments regarding the taking of the name of the Lord in vain. We all have feet of clay. Paul is not speaking down to anyone when he wrote these words. Before his calling, he considered himself to be the greatest sinner of all. Nearly 30 years after his salvation, and towards the end of his earthly ministry, he still referred to himself as the wretched man that I am, Romans 7:24. In many cases, God's brightest lights have come from the darkest corners of sin and have gotten themselves involved in some of the most abhorrent of sins. In some cases, these events occurred after they were saved. Paul was not condoning any of these sins, but was perhaps hoping that by speaking of such things, others may avoid the trap and the damage that can result. In verses 25 through 28, Paul uses the ritual of circumcision to illustrate that it is not the rituals, but the spiritual truth and principle behind the rituals that really matter. Rituals without spirituality are meaningless. It is not mechanically going through the motions of rituals that impresses God. Man is impressed by such things and will praise each other for doing such things. But genuine spirituality is what will receive the praise of God. Verse 29. Paul evidently anticipated that the reaction to his earlier remarks regarding the Jewish heritage and the long-held tradition of circumcision would undoubtedly be unsettling to both the Jewish and Gentile converts who were to receive this letter. At issue would be the attribute of immutability, that's the changelessness, and the faithfulness of God in light of human failure. Did the past failure of the Jews as a nation cause God to withdraw any of the promises he made? If so, could the promises made to the church be withdrawn also? Satan is a master in the art of deception. Never fail to give the devil his due. Underestimating the enemy is a serious mistake in any type of warfare. Here we see an example of Satan trying to take advantage of a current event to plant seeds of doubt. Paul addresses these concerns, Romans 3:1, by asking and answering the question at hand. God's response to the question concerning the Jews would provide an answer to future concerns regarding promises made to the church. Were the national promises given to the Jews, yet unfulfilled, now null and void? The biblical answer to this question is no. The promises of an earthly kingdom, headquartered in Jerusalem, with a Messiah who would rule the nations, was and is still to come. This promise will be fulfilled during the dispensation of the millennial period, when Christ returns with his church.